Do you sometimes travel by bus? Learn how to ask for help at a bus station and make other requests using the modal verbs can, could, and would. Listen for these modal verbs in this story. Last week, my friend and I traveled to New York by bus. First, we had to buy bus tickets. Can you please hold my bag while I buy our tickets?
Sure.
Would you mind telling me how much a bus ticket costs?
It's $15.
And would you please tell me when the next bus to New York leaves?
Certainly. It leaves at 3.
Could I please have 2 tickets for the 3 o'clock bus?
Of course.
We use can, could, and would to make requests. Would and could are more polite than can. We can use both you and I after can and could. Can you help me carry my bags? Could you tell me when the bus will arrive? Can I borrow your bus map? Could I see your ticket? We use you, but not I after would. Would you show me where the bus station is? Would you mind is even more polite than would. Unlike would you mind is followed by a verb in the ing form. Would you mind telling me which bus goes to New York? Click pause and choose the correct sentences. More than one sentence is correct. Do you ever need to ask for help? Learn how to use modal verbs to ask for help and make other requests. Listen for can and could in this story. Last Saturday, before I went to the library, I called my friend and asked to use his bike. Hi, Matt. Can I borrow your bike?
Sure.
On my way to the library, I got lost. Excuse me, could you please give me directions to the library?
Of course. Go straight and then turn right. The library is on the left.
There are several modal verbs we use to make requests. Can and could are 2 of them. Could is more polite than can, but adding please to any request makes it more polite. Unlike other modal verbs for requests, we can use both you and I after can and could. Can you help me with my homework? Can I borrow your car? Could you lend me a hand? Could I speak to your manager, please? Click pause and rearrange the words to create a request. Thank you for watching.
questions in English from espressoenglish.net. Direct questions are the normal questions that we can ask friends, family members, and people who we know well. For example, where is the bathroom? Indirect questions are a little more formal and polite. We use them when talking to a person we don't know very well, or in professional situations. For example, could you tell me where the bathroom is? Here are some common phrases used for indirect questions. Could you tell me? Do you know? I was wondering. Do you have any idea? I'd like to know. Would it be possible? Is there any chance? There are a few grammatical changes with indirect questions. Let's look at some examples. Direct. Where is Market Street? Indirect. Could you tell me where Market Street is? In indirect questions, forms of the verb to be come after the subject. Direct. What time does the bank open? Indirect. Do you know what time the bank opens? In indirect questions, we don't use the auxiliary verbs do, does, or did. And notice that the word open in the direct question becomes opens in the indirect question. Here's another example, this time in the past. Direct. Why did you move to Europe? Indirect. I was wondering why you moved to Europe. Again, we don't use the auxiliary verb did, and did you move in the direct question becomes you moved in the indirect question. Here's one in the present perfect. Direct. How has he managed to get in shape so quickly? Indirect. Do you have any idea how he's managed to get in shape so quickly? In indirect questions in the present perfect, the auxiliary verb has or have is moved to after the subject. Direct. How much does this motorcycle cost? Indirect. I'd like to know how much this motorcycle costs. Again, in indirect questions, we don't use the auxiliary verb does. Also, cost becomes costs. You can see that this indirect question is not even really a question. It is more of a statement that invites the other person to answer. Direct. Can you finish the project by tomorrow? Indirect. Would it be possible for you to finish the project by tomorrow? For direct questions with can, we can use would it be possible in the indirect question. Direct. Can we change the meeting to Thursday? Indirect. Is there any chance we could change the meeting to Thursday? Is there any chance is another option for forming indirect questions with can. If the direct question is a yes or no question, meaning it has no question word such as what, who, when, where, why, or how, then the indirect question will have if. Let's look at some examples. Direct. Does Tom like Italian food? Indirect. Do you know if Tom likes Italian food? Direct. Are your parents joining us for dinner? Indirect. Could you tell me if your parents are joining us for dinner? Direct. Do they speak English? Indirect. I was wondering if they speak English. Direct. Has Barbara ever studied abroad? Indirect. Do you have any idea if Barbara's ever studied abroad? Direct. Do you plan on traveling this summer? Indirect. I'd like to know if you plan on traveling this summer.